to our admin meeting, the last of 2020. I'm glad you all are here. Before we dive right in, before we even take public comment, I have the huge honor of swearing in two elected officials who serve us super well. So Shirley, are you okay if we start with you?
You bet.
All right, so I have the oath right here. So I guess as tradition goes, you will repeat after me, right? You could say your name.
I, Shirley Faust,
do solemnly swear that I will support, protect, and defend the Constitution
that I will support, protect, and defend the Constitution
of the United States and the Constitution of Montana,
of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Montana,
and that I will discharge the duties of my office, Missoula County Clerk of District Court,
County Clerk of District Court,
with fidelity, so help me God.
With fidelity, so help me God.
You're it. Thank you so much, Shirley.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're super fortunate to have you. Thanks for doing this yet again.
Of course. Thank you for the opportunity.
Okay. Juanita, Commissioner Barrows up next. Here you go. I state your name.
I, Juanita Vero,
do solemnly swear that I will support, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States.
Do solemnly swear that I will support, protect, defend the Constitution of the United States.
And the Constitution of the State of Montana.
And the Constitution of the State of Montana.
And that I will discharge the duties of my office.
That I will discharge the duties of my office.
Missoula County Commissioner, fidelity, so help me God.
Missoula County Commissioner, fidelity, so help me God.
Yay.
Congratulations. Congratulations, Shirley, and Juan.
So we are all so fortunate to have you here in our midst and to get to work with you. And the citizens of our county are even more fortunate to have you at their service. So thank you so much.
And I wonder, is this the first ever virtual swearing in ceremony in Missoula County history?
I imagine so. And it went smoothly.
There we go.
Right. Once again, leading the charge.
Martin, did you get that? First ever today.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thanks, Martin.
All right. It does appear that we are packing it in to squeeze the last ounce of oomph out of 2020 here today. Our first presenter is Matt Jennings, who we don't see enough of. I hope he's here.
I assume that Matt will not be joining us, so I'll go ahead. Unfortunately, you're stuck with.
We almost had him.
So, commissioners, the item before you is a request from Matt Jennings to appoint a special deputy county attorney. There's an actual conflict with our office. As you know, this happens from time to time. I know that Matt has previously defended Mr. Mueller in conjunction with his work with the sheriff's office. And so the request is to appoint Mineral County Attorney Ellen Donahue to handle this matter.
Great.
I move that the board approve the resolution to appoint a special deputy county attorney.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Here we go. Thanks, Brian.
Thank you.
Next up is Andrew Hagemeyer.
Good morning, commissioners. Live from my basement on the north side of Missoula. We've got a simple contract extension here with Dover Coal Partners for the Swift-Cutting Master Plan and Form-Based Code. As you know, the hearing is January 7th, and the contract expires December 31st. So we're extending the contract, and we're going to bump it out to June 30th. That's for 6 months. That's much later than January 7th, and that's because we are working with the city and Dover Coal right now on a scope amendment to do some training, to train staff how to use the form-based code, and for the development community how to submit applications for the form-based code. We think the community really need that. So that will be coming after the new year. So the request is to extend the contract to June 30th.
Excellent. I would move that we extend the contract.
Second.
Hey, all in favor?
Aye.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Andrew. Great idea.
Thank you.
All right, Adrian and or Erica.
Well, commissioners, I don't see them on, so if I
Okay.
might pinch hit, if that would be acceptable.
Yeah, please do.
Sure. So this is a professional services agreement with Erie Backcountry Medicine, also known as Erie Educational Services, to assist us with doing some of the evaluations out at the detention facility that we need to conduct over the next couple of weeks due to the limited outbreak that's occurring there. So this will allow the Erie staff to go in and do the kind of health screening piece of that we need taken care of in some of the off hours, and then also with staff. So
Fantastic.
Great. I'm glad they can do it. I move to approve the professional service agreement between Missoula County and Educational Services, Erie Backcountry Medicine.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, next up is Sheriff McDermott.
Hey, good morning, commissioners. How are you?
Good, how are you doing?
Good, thanks.
Good. This is the chaplain's contract. We originally had it on last Thursday, but Erica was awaiting a liability certificate. So she's received that, worked with Lowell, and then she signed off on it yesterday. So it's good to go, and we've brought it in front of the commission for signatures.
All right.
Great.
Thanks, TJ. I would move that we approve the PSA.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Excellent.
Thank you.
CJ?
Thank
Thank
you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, next up, it looks like it's Jason Hauser.
Yeah, hi. This is a request for the new generator at the health department that we discussed previously a little bit. So this just kind of itemizes everything out, the electrical end of it, the gas end of it. There's an engineering fee in there and the cost of the generator to replace the existing one.
And Jason, could you just refresh everyone's memory here as far as the financing goes for this?
I think this is coming out of Ellen's budget on her end of it. This is to protect her freezers and refrigerators and stuff like that with all the vaccines. So right now, the generator that's existing is woefully undersized to handle any type of load that they have right now for the vaccines. This will handle the existing load and set them up in the future for expansion of their emergency vaccines.
And we didn't get any CARES Act funding for this, is that right?
No, I think we got in on it too late.
Okay. Okay.
I think they advised ice cube trays.
It was close.
And it's, it's tight. Jason, I'm just curious, do we have a use in the county somewhere for the old generator?
We will definitely not get rid of it, but I can tell you it's older than anybody on this call.
Okay.
I think it's circa 1960s. It's a good generator. It works. It runs well. We test it monthly. We run it monthly. It is a good generator, so we won't get rid of it. It's not something that we'd probably set up as an emergency situation,
Got it.
So.
That's good to know. Thank you.
Yes.
All right.
Well, the board approved the purchase and installation of the generator and transfer switch for
Second.
Missoula Health Department.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Oh, as well as ancillary costs to include.
Yeah, don't forget the ancillary.
That too.
There's some unknowns that we just need to make sure. I just would rather ask now than later.
It's how everything works.
Yeah.
Nothing
Happy
unusual.
holidays, everybody.
Happy holidays.
Yeah.
You too, Jason.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
And here's one, not that the others have not been exciting. They've been very exciting, but I'm super excited about this one. Oh, and look, Nancy's dressed for the day. Nice. All right, let's talk generosity and
Okay, great.
and help and charitable kindness.
Oh, and there's Juanita.
There
That's terrific. And Violet, thank you for sharing the screen on my behalf. So I am asking the commission to direct staff to proceed with the contracting process for Missoula County COVID-19 Small Business Job Retention Grant Awards. And a little bit of background on this. In recognition of the impact of COVID-19 on small businesses and on the Missoula workforce, the commission made up to $625,000 of the county's Community Development Block Grant Economic Development Revolving Loan Fund available to small businesses for low and moderate income job retention grants. Award amounts range between $10,000 and $25,000, and they are dependent on the demonstrated cost of eligible expenses under the CDBG program, which include lease, rent, or mortgage payment, utilities, insurance, payroll, or inventory costs over the 3-month term of the grant award, which will be January 1st, 2021 through March 31st, 2021. A response to this was absolutely overwhelming, to say the least. The application was available to the public at 9 o'clock in the morning on December 10th, and we have received 126 applications totaling $2.875 million in requests. Grants and community program staff have reviewed, as applications came in, staff reviewed them for completeness, for demonstrated need, and for eligibility. And we have a group of 27 award recommendations that we would like you to consider today, and that's what you see up on the screen. The total amount of these requests is $624,737.82. So remarkably, we're about $5 under the total amount available. And just some overall stats for this group of applicants. The average number of employees for these 27 businesses is 13. These businesses laid off a total of 158 staff in 2020. They had an average revenue decline of 45% in 2020. And they project that in the first 3 months of 2021, without this funding, they would have to lay off 166 people. And then just a breakdown of funding across sectors. 58% of the funding is recommended to go to the food and drink sector, 12% to retail, 10% to professional services, 10% to preschool and childcare providers, 6% to transportation providers, and 4% to lodging establishments. So I'm asking you today just to give direction to proceed with contracts. And if all goes really well, I will be back in front of you on either January 5th or January 7th with contracts, and then we'll be able to get funds out to these businesses.
Great. Hey, Melissa, I just want to clarify a couple things, mostly for Martin and other media. You said we opened it at 9 o'clock. We did this on a first come, first served basis. How much time elapsed before we were full, basically?
Less than 2 hours.
Yeah, are you in awe, Martin? Hopefully, I feel like that's a powerful thing.
Yeah, that went quickly. I'm surprised.
And then one other thing I just wanted to be clear on is this is community development block grant money, which, if I understand it correctly, is federal money that filters down to us to do economic development work. And we had in the past run this as a revolving loan fund. But given the intense and accentuating circumstances of this historical moment, we're not doing that, and instead are using this money to give as grants to businesses who are in danger of closing their doors or laying people off. I'm sure Melissa said that. I just wanted to be clear with Martin that that's what was happening.
Yes, exactly.
Thank you for that explanation. Just to be clear, this is not CARES Act funding. This is CDBG funding.
CDBG money that happens
Right.
every year. It doesn't have anything to do with the pandemic. The difference is we're deciding not to loan this out as a revolving loan fund, but to grant it to businesses who are in danger of closing their doors or laying off staff.
Right.
And we get that this isn't enough money to, keep it all going for another year. This is a stopgap until federal money is coming. And we made these decisions ahead of this agreement that's about to be reached in Washington. But hopefully this will kind of staunch the bleeding while we wait for real attention, which is coming from the federal government soon, so it seems.
Do you have
Melissa?
that shows the sectors?
That pie chart?
Golly, Nancy made a beautiful pie chart and I didn't send it to Violet. This was in process
No
until
worries.
yesterday evening. I'm sorry, I don't have that, but I would be
It's
happy.
just dramatic, but that's okay. Yeah, that's fine.
Maybe we could make that available to the media after this this meeting, because it is pretty a pretty good tangible representation of how the dollars are going to be doled out. I do have a question for you, Melissa. So, and Josh is absolutely correct that we would have liked to have done a whole lot more than what we are able to, but we're going to push out over $600,000 out the door to help these businesses that are listed here. Could you talk a little bit, just briefly, about the criteria that were used to screen and to evaluate these requests? Because we've gotten some snarky comments from folks assuming that we're just going to kind of willy-nilly sprinkle this out to big box stores or businesses that obviously, from looking at this list, are not the targets. So if you could just talk a little bit about what was looked at.
Sure. So first, the applications were reviewed for completeness. If an application, because these were considered on a first come, first served basis, it wasn't sufficient just to submit half an application and consider your request in. So there was the application, and then there were 4 supplementary application materials that went with it. If that was complete, then staff checked each application against 14 criteria, and those were that the business be located within the geographic boundaries of Missoula County, that the business have 50 or fewer employees, that at least one full-time equivalent position currently held by a low and moderate income employee must be retained over the term of the grant. The business must have experienced a measurable loss of revenue due to COVID-19. The business must be at risk of laying off employees and long-term closure as a result of COVID-19. The applicant had to clearly demonstrate the need for support in order to retain employees. The business must not receive assistance from multiple sources for the same purpose, which is duplication of benefit, during the term of the grant. Business must not have a record of violating any Missoula City County Health Officer COVID-19 health orders. So we checked with the health department on that. The applicant must be 51% plus majority owner of the business. The applicant must not currently be in bankruptcy. Applicants must be current on business property tax payments. The applicants must have a current Missoula business license. The applicants must not be on the federal debarred list. And the applicant must not have a current Missoula County CDBG economic development loan. That was probably a little more than.
No, that's great.
Well, that's good. Good to know. Good to have that out there.
Hey, Melissa, just real quick, it's Martin. On the chart that's on the screen, it says layoffs in 2020. Is that the number of employees they laid off in that calendar year? And why does that number of layoffs exceed the number of total employees, or is that the number of employees who remain?
The number of employees is the number of employees at the time of application. So you're probably looking at Scotty's table where they currently have 18 employees and they laid 30 people off in 2020. It has to do with different timeframes. So number of employees was as of December 10th. Layoffs in 2020 was across the entire year. So if the number in the layoffs column is higher, that's because they've laid off that many people and they're left with the number that you see in the number of employees column.
Great, thanks.
So Melissa, on that score, just taking the Scotty's table example, if they have 18 employees and they're projecting layoffs of 18, essentially without some level of support, they're looking at shutting down.
That's what was indicated in the application.
Well, I would move that we direct staff to proceed with the contracting process.
An enthusiastic second, and I'm so grateful for staff for being able to so quickly create this and turn this around and get it out to folks. It was amazing how fast you guys did this.
Absolutely.
yeah, I really want it to be known that Melissa and her staff brought this idea to us of changing how we work, how we implement CDBG, and they get the pats on the back for being creative and swift. So there you go.
Thank
All right,
you.
all in
Thank
favor?
you. I'll be
Yeah.
sure to pass that on.
Please do.
Thanks, Melissa.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next up is Jen Kirscher from about the Health Department.
Hi, good morning. I'm here to request the board and the chair approve and the chair sign the DPHHS task order for the Missoula City County Health Department to provide services to special populations. So they just renamed this. This was previously our Refugee Resettlement Assistance Contract. And through this, through this contract, we ensure the refugees receive their required medical care and follow-up. We also provide interpretation services as well as provide health and safety information for those people and families coming to our communities. So this is our, third or fourth year providing these services.
So great that you do that. Well done, Jen.
Thank you.
So I move that the board approve and Josh sign the DPHS task order.
Second.
Great. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all very much.
Thanks, Jen.
Thank you.
Next up, our very own John Stegmeyer.
Good morning, everyone. I have today a grant agreement for you. This is an agreement for a Trails Bond project. This will be our first funded Trails Bond project to go under agreement. This is with Montana Fish, Wildlife, and Parks for their trail project out in Milltown State Park. We should have Mike Custodia on the line, manager of Milltown State Park, if we have any specific questions about the project. But essentially, this is our governance framework for those bond funds going out, specifying reporting requirements and use of those funds. Questions on the agreement?
I think, is this, I think we went out there quite a while ago and looked at where this was going to be. So this has been in the works for a long time.
It has, yeah. And I should have clarified that you all did via resolution last July approve this project. So this is, we're just kind of getting into our Trails Bond program is new, created with those funds. And so the project, necessitated us getting to contract documentation. And so that's done. And Mike's project out there is ready to start here this spring. So thus, it's just kind of the timing of things. But yes, the project's been fully approved by the commission.
Yeah, I remember going out to visit.
Yeah, this is great. So I would move that we approve the agreement.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Yeah, it's a wonderful addition to a wonderful park.
Thanks, John.
Thank you all. Take care.
All right, next up from the Water Quality District is Elena Evans.
Hi, everyone. I'm happy to bring to you a MOU for the Big Sky Watershed Corps. It's an agreement that was budgeted for in the approved budget to have a AmeriCorps member in our office for 11 months to help out doing field work and data analysis. It's the same agreement for the AmeriCorps member that we had last year, who was able to help us look at water levels out in the Grant Creek area and then do a bunch of other data collection that wouldn't be possible otherwise.
Wonderful.
Great. I move that Josh sign the host to representative signature block for the MOU between Big Sky Watershed Corps and Missoula Valley Water Quality District. Do we have the person hired already?
We do. Megan Heath will be joining us mid-January. She actually has a master's in geology, and we will be looking at the O'Keefe Creek area, trying to do some geologic cross sections and then collecting more water data out that way.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, sounds like quite a qualified AmeriCorps person.
Yeah, we're really lucky. It's a great program. And particularly last year, we wouldn't have been able to do almost any of the field work unless we had Thomas on board. So thank you. And we look forward to reporting all of the good things that she does in the future.
Nice. Great.
Great, thanks.
Thank you.
Is it my turn?
I think so, yes.
Okay, I will move that we authorize the chair to sign the host site rep. Did you just make that?
You said
motion?
that. Seconding. You're seconding.
Okay. Great.
Oh, I'm
Then-
seconding. Okay.
Then all in favoring.
Aye.
Aye. Nice.
Sorry, Nicole.
A loss in conversation.
We're getting there.
And Nicole, you have a bunch of them.
Yeah, I do. Good morning. We're doing some grant closeouts and some grant contract extensions and one new grant contract. So the first item is a closeout certification for the BSTF grant for Botany Natural Soap. They created 6 jobs from 2019 through 2020.
Good for them.
Okay, I would move that we approve the closeout certification.
Second.
Okay, all in favor.
Aye. Go Bunny.
Yeah.
Thank you. And the next item is another closeout certification for the grant supporting Reflex Protect. They created 2 jobs under that grant and their contract's ending here in a couple weeks. So I'm going to close this one out.
I move that we approve the amendment to business assistance agreement for item number 12. No, sorry.
This is 11.
11, sorry.
Second.
Okay, all in favor.
Aye. Hey, Nicole, before we go on, Reflex, which I always think reflux, but Reflex. So this is the spray, the substance for personal protection.
Red Storm.
That's
Red
right.
Storm.
Yeah, Reflex Protect is the name of it's the self-defense spray, and their Reflex Red Storm was their original business name, but they're doing business as Reflex Protect.
So how are they doing? Obviously, we're closing this out, but are they doing okay? Or
Yeah, they are doing okay. They this grant, I think, was awarded to create 5 jobs. They didn't quite get there, but they are still holding steady at their employment level and are continuing to sell their product. They're still located over in the Montech, and I've checked in with them about closing this grant, and they're, I'm not really sure how impacted they are by COVID. They seem to be kind of holding firm at their current employment level and with what they're doing with selling their product. So.
Okay. Good to hear. Thanks.
Yeah. So this next item is it's a time extension on the grant contract to support Newfields. So they were awarded a grant in 2019, and we did an extension request to extend their grant for another year into 2021.
Okay, I would move item number 12.
Second.
Okay,
A
all
lot
in
of
favor.
work, that one.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Thank you. And then number 13, this is kind of the same thing where we're doing a time extension for the contract for Insight Studio. This is another extension request that we did back in October that was approved. So now we're just signing the actual contract amendments to extend the grant.
Remind me again what Insight did or does?
Insight Studio, yeah, so they are a software consulting firm. They specifically help companies deploy a software called HubSpot that helps manage marketing for a wide variety of different companies. And so they're kind of just a small firm that just works with this one type of software and helping people understand how to use it, basically. Kind of like ATG, but on a sort of a way smaller scale.
Thank you. So then, yes, I move the board approve the amendment to business assistance agreement for Big Sky, number 13.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, and number 14, this is a draw request for the Insight Studio. So we've extended their contract now, and they have created 2 jobs. So now that we've officially extended it, so they still have an active contract, now we can do a draw request for $15,000 in reimbursement for them.
All right, I would move that we approve the draw request.
Second.
Great. All in favor?
Aye. Go Insight.
Go,
Yeah.
go.
Thank you. And then finally, last item, this is our most recently awarded job creation grant supporting UNAVCO. So this is the initial contracting for the grant where they're asking you to approve and authorize the chair to sign the contract with the state, and then our 2 subcontracts between Missoula County and UNAVCO.
And Nicole, if I remember right, UNAVCO is this like global collection of scientists doing amazing and complicated things all over everywhere.
Right. They manage a huge library of geodesic sensors that are deployed all over the world, mostly by universities, but also by private companies to figure out, to measure the Earth, basically.
There was a word, a new verb. Was it a verb or a noun? I can't remember which, that we were all having a lot of fun with during that presentation. Geodesy, or
geodesy. That's
yes.
right. Hey,
Yes.
which I have to say I've forgotten what that means now, but it meant something that. Yeah, please. What does it mean?
It's the science of measuring the Earth, from what I understand.
Got
This is my UNAVCO has taught me this. So
I'm going to bring it up to my family tonight as word of the day, just to see.
Okay, we'll write it down.
Yeah, I got the hence the pen. There we go. Okay. Well, thank you. So we got to approve this one.
This is my motion then. Gosh, I'm looking on my phone. I can't read it.
15.
Number 15.
Number 15.
Move to approve 15.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thanks, Nicole.
Thank you so much. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Thanks for all the good work you do, Nicole.
Thank you. Back at you.
Thank you.
All right. Chris Lounsbury.
Yes, good morning, commissioners. So before you, we have a request for you to appoint a chair for 2021. And so the Montana Code annotated 742109 requires that each year prior to your first meeting of the subsequent calendar year, you elect a presiding officer. Really, the presiding officer's duty for the most part is just to run the meeting. But of course, as you know, during states of declared emergency or disaster, the presiding officer also has some authority to declare an emergency or a disaster even without the board, and then the board must ratify that decision, and also has the authority to restrict access to certain areas of the county. So while most of those duties are perfunctory, simply chairing the meetings, every now and then there's the rare opportunity where one of you gets to act alone as the chair. So we have historically followed a rotation that allows the chair not to be the person who is running for office on the next election. And so that would normally, I believe, make it Dave for this next year. But of course, it is at your discretion who you choose to be your chair.
I motion to approve Dave. But Dave, you got to put your hat on backwards. You're ready to act alone.
And I'd love to have Dave do this. I think it would be great. I think we should switch from chair to love seat.
Could be lawn chair. I've got
lawn chair.
Whatever works. Sure, I will do that in keeping with our oral history tradition. So I'll second your motion, Juanita.
Great. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks.
You're tagged with me for the next one as well. So, and TJ is also on the phone and happy to speak to this. But as you know, the county received a grant many years ago, gosh, now probably at least 12 and maybe as long ago as 15 years ago, to replace a bunch of our public safety handheld radios that are used by the officers in the field. And so we have been looking for different ways to pay for the replacement of those radios as they've come to end of life, but also make sure that we're kind of future-proofing ourselves, meaning that whatever technology we buy today will allow us to work in the future, as well as we look at upgrades to our radio system over the next few years. So working with TJ and Adrian and Andrew, we've been able to use the state's contract with Motorola Systems to provide public safety radios for replacement for the Deputy Sheriff's Office. They are offering a package that allows them to have what we call dual band, which means they'll work on the frequencies we're currently using as well as the frequencies that we will most likely be using in the future. And those radios come basically with a financing agreement for 2 years at 0%. So we'll be able to pay them off over 2 fiscal years rather than having to pay them all out of 1 fiscal year, which is a benefit to the county without any additional costs. And so what this request is a request to authorize the chief financial officer to sign those finance documents, agreeing to the purchase of those Motorola radios. And I'll let TJ talk about, you know, the number and kind of benefit for his folks in the field, but they sure have been seeing some degradation in service, I know, so.
All right, thanks, Chris. Yeah, we talked a little bit about this last week at our monthly meeting, but the existing portables that we have are about 15 years old and they're not supported any longer, meaning that when they break, we can't get them fixed or get new circuit boards. And so we're trying to figure out a way creatively to utilize some funding if available, some funds that we had, and then ultimately Motorola has this financing plan that ends at the end of the year. That's why it came up so quickly. But this works with Adrian, her future plan for mountaintops, her collaboration with the other agencies, the city and university and the fire departments and airports. And so it's a good thing. It's been a critical need of our department for a long time to replace the portables. I think we're down right now to either 4 or 6 of them that actually work that we assign out to new people. And again, they're just not supported. And so it's a good thing. A lot of work went into it with Adrian and Steve and different members. And they ultimately rested on this one portable that seems to fit all of the different needs moving forward. So I know it's something we're really happy to see happen and excited for. And this financing option allows us to get all the radios rather than trying to piecemeal it with DOC money or other creative ways of buying part now and part later. It seems like it's a good thing. I fully support it, and I'm just very thankful for everyone that has worked hard to make this happen. I can tell you this is on the top of the list of the deputies as far as a safety issue and a valuable piece of equipment that's needed to be replaced. Even prior to me becoming the sheriff. So this is a huge accomplishment to be able to have this move forward. And again, I fully support it. So thank you.
I do have a question, TJ or Chris. So this will be spread out over 2 years, the payments for this. How are we covering it during this fiscal year out of cash?
So Dave, we're using Andrew's on there. I'm going to stop talking. I see Andrew's on now.
Yeah, no, I am online. I'm just having video problems this morning. I'm sorry. Yeah, the first payment is actually 2 years from today or from this month, Dave.
Oh,
it's 2 years free interest, and then it can be paid off on any payment day. If we don't pay it off in 2 years, it goes to a 4-year payment plan where it's an annual payment each year at 2.59% interest. TJ currently has about $250,000 in reserves that he could use towards this year's payment. But we'll go ahead and save that and hold on to it and just use their money for 2 years free and pay it in full 2 years from today.
Okay, great. I misunderstood. Thanks.
You bet.
Yeah, I didn't catch that either. I'm glad to know. What a favorable deal.
Really is. And we're just working through some of the contract language. I know Brian is looking at it. Erica had some comments, and that's why it's asking me to be authorized to sign the document.
Thanks. And then TJ, maybe you already told us this, but what's the life expectancy of these? Are now that they're supported now, so they can be updated, or how's that work?
Yeah, I don't know a lot particularly about the radio and its features, but Chris, could you help out with that part? I'm not a techie.
So Motorola, these are new radios in Motorola's class, and so they'll have Motorola usually provides about 10 years of support before they end of life, and then usually after they end of life, there's 1 to 2 years that you can get parts. But then when we get to the place where we are now, where we're 15 years out, it's a problem. So we would expect these radios will last, in the 7 to 10 year time frame, depending on amount of use, and obviously the deputies do a great job of taking care of their equipment, but we also know they have a really hard and difficult and sometimes physical job, and so barring damage and those kinds of things, we would expect that we get at least another 7 to 10 years.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, happy to get these things replaced. So I'd move that we authorize the CFO to sign the contract.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Great. Thanks a lot, guys.
Yeah, thank you. That means a lot, and it's greatly appreciated. We appreciate all the support of the commission and everyone that helped with this project. So my sincere thank you.
Hey, you guys have been great, and just thanks for a great year. It's been
you too. Happy holidays.
Challenging, and for everybody, but you made the process a lot easier, and we really appreciate the relationship that we do have right now. It's not something that we've ever really known. So we're very, very grateful for you guys. So thank you for that too.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Holiday.
Merry Christmas, and tell your deputies thanks on behalf of us.
Well, thank you.
Okay, some correspondence.
So commissioners, just one piece of correspondence here that I'll cover for Annie, and this is just a response. You received some comments from Representative Tashida regarding the safe temporary outdoor space, and so this is just a response that was kindly drafted by Commissioner Strohmeyer that we've emailed to him, but just so that it's in the kind of formal record.
Thank you, and thank you for doing that, Dave.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Great job, Dave. Very generous, gracious response to not such a generous, gracious piece of outreach.
You bet.
Okay, we have any other review of meetings, upcoming meetings, comments, instructions? Any new COVID stuff? Oh, do you see something, Juan?
No, I was just asking, is there something happening this afternoon? Or is this it? Okay.
I think this is all she wrote.
There's a hand. I see. I can't tell who it is.
Martin.
Hey, yeah, just since you're all sitting here, the stimulus bill part 2 passed last night. I know the county had requested Tester and Danes to include funding for local governments. It looks like there was some funding for local governments in there. I'm not sure how much or what for, but have you guys had a chance to digest that? And do you have thoughts on the bill?
I'm gonna Andrew. Do you know? I know Andrew often follows these things pretty closely.
I haven't had a chance to take a look at it in great detail. I know there's additional money for testing. I don't think there's any money for local government specific, but I haven't read the entire thing.
I do feel a little bit buoyed by the words of our president-elect saying this is a down payment and that there could be more coming after January 20th. So, though given there may not be all we need for local government in this bill, there may be more. I'm not feeling downcast just yet.
Okay.
Hey, Josh, just going back for a second to the upcoming meetings and such. And we don't have to get into the weeds on this right now, but as I was cleaning out my inbox at an ungodly hour of the morning this morning, and stumbled upon a message from Lori Francis with PHC that had a link to a video piece that was talking about equity issues across the nation, one thing that came up in there that I think is worth pondering is how for governments, and in our case, local governments, the way in which they schedule their meetings can lend itself to something as simple as a time of day, disenfranchising certain portions
Yeah.
of the public who might be working or otherwise not able to attend. And I think it's worth us taking a look at in the year 2021, how well something as simple as our schedule aligns with equity.
Yeah,
So,
we will be having, Chris, when do you think we'll have our equity person on board?
So we have interviews the second week of January, the week of the 11th is when we have them. And so I'm hoping by either the following week or week after to have the finalists meet with you. So I'm hoping before the end of January, we'll have them selected. I will let you know that you do have to revisit your meeting times. Actually, that's an annual requirement, and we will be doing that in the early part of January to talk about your meeting dates and times. So
well, there we go.
Timely information that Dave just brought up. It is actually Mako sent out this very nice, handy 14-page document of all the things we need to make sure that we've done. And so that is one of them.
You know, I wonder if as we go into making that decision, is there a mechanism by which we can ask the greater public to what degree this is important and what people want, so we don't guess that the best thing to do would be to have this, Sunday night or something, but just maybe we can make more informed decisions if we get some information from the public. Maybe we could even, if surveying and such is a rough way to go, maybe we could have a public hearing about this or something like that. I'm just thinking of the level of disruption for staff as well if we were to move these things around during the week or even in the evening, and want to be cognizant that there's humans on all sides of this. So let's get some good information before we make up our minds.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Good.
Thanks for digging around your inbox, Dave.
Yeah. You should never feel compelled to read any of my emails at ODark30. So.
Oh, it looks like, is that Martin again? Or is his hand still up? Nope, never mind.
Sorry.
So no worries.
Okay. With that, I think we may be done. Great. Well,
Okay.
thanks everybody for a great year.
Yeah. Happy holidays. See you
Happy
next year.
holidays.
You guys. Happy
All right.
holidays, everyone.
Holidays. Thanks, Violet.
Talk soon.
My
Goodbye.